So let's try this again. The first time I got interrupted by a phone call. Um, so this house, I chose to do a very modern look to it. Nowadays, you probably wouldn't, or I would say that with climate change, and we need to save the birds, bees, butterflies, and all sorts of other insects and small animals that these type of gardens may not be so trendy in the future. But I would say that I've seen a lot of these type of gardens because people who buy a house often also, if they can afford a house, have very busy jobs. So it makes sense that a lot of people did this kind of thing, where a lot of gravel, a few pots with some flowers in, or some plants that didn't need a lot of tending, because you didn't want to spend the time in your garden doing heavy work, because you're already tired from your actual work. So yeah, I put in a little sort of oven and a recreation area. I was sort of testing out some of all the outdoors things to see how they look. So I created a little fireplace there, and then some ponds with some fish in it. And it's not really my thing. It's too sort of strict and bare for my personal liking, but it looks like some gardens I've seen here and there. The same sort of goes for the house. Throughout the house, you'll see that it's sort of a very minimalistic, sort of strict structure to it. I mostly worked here not so much with color, but with maybe more texture and patterns, and yeah, light. I worked a lot with lights here, and glass. So yeah, this is the of course the entrance. Not much to see there other than what usually is in an entrance. We'll start with the bathroom here. As you can see, very strict, the bare minimum sort of held in some black, white, grey colors. It has the things you need for a bathroom and everything nice and tidy, and that is it. I also work with sliding doors a lot in this house, and that was to sort of have that more as someone who would be fascinated a bit, maybe more by Japanese, or maybe also other Asian cultures of sliding doors, and this sort of strict, very clean setup. So yes, dining table and a kitchen, very open kitchen that leads out into um, the front of the room. I left a little bit of shit there. Never mind. Um, Again, new stuff, pretty fancy, clean, not much to see. But here's where I then uh, experimented, like I always do. I put a pool in the middle of the house. And of course, so that we don't splash on everyone, I put these barriers up. But basically, yeah, there's a pool in the middle of the house here. Then I put down some very big sculptures, because the house doesn't have a lot of furniture. and doesn't have a lot of color or other things, then it can carry a big sculpture, because the sculpture can be seen clearly against the the wall, and will look more impressive that way. So that worked out. And as you can see, this is a place where they don't really care about TV. But hey. Then there's the first bedroom here, and here you can see how I worked with lights. I have if you followed any of my videos, you've seen that I've done patterns with walls and ceilings and floors before, but this was one of the first times that I sort of started moving out of the general thing. I found out that these lights created this fascinating pattern over here, and I put these dividers down as a back for the bed. I really liked how it turned out. Of course, one could say there isn't much space for like cabinets for clothes and stuff. But this again is mostly to experiment with things like how the lights came down, and this is the first time I started working a bit with hidden lights, and I must say I like how this turned out, the way the lights work in here. I'm fascinated by it, and the mirroring of the wall and the ceiling. And for the other room, and you could say there's not much privacy here either, but that's just how it is in this house. Here again, same thing. Excuse me. I decided that both rooms would have sort of the same elements, but then I would try with some other things, some different textures, perhaps some different colors. So here we have again a very strict setup, but kind of fascinated. I'm fascinated by how the lights work, and getting an opportunity to try it with some different materials and some different setups to see how it works with these different things. And I liked how this turned out. I really did. So yeah, this is my very futuristic house. Not completely, like I said, this isn't really my style. If it was a house I should live in, I would find it too sterile and too cold, too much stone, and not enough softness and stuff. But on the other hand, it's fun to play with things that are outside of what you would normally do yourself. And a game like this gives me the opportunity to do that. Of course, I wouldn't start remodeling my own house to see what it would look like if it was completely sort of done up in a minimalistic way, if it's sort of not something that fits my lifestyle, because I mean, we don't just remodel our own houses just because, most of us don't have the money for that. But it's nice with a game like this that gives you an opportunity to try some of these things out. And I'm the type who'll be fascinated by things that are not, excuse the bell outside, we have an ice cream van that comes by like that, so sorry about that if you could hear that. But yeah, I'm fascinated with things that are not the way I would do things, because that's how it is, isn't it? It's the same. I see people with tattoos, and I can be completely fascinated by some of these beautiful tattoos, but I'm never gonna have one myself, and it's not because of anything to do with needles or stuff. I'm not scared of needles, um, but actually, I like my bare skin. But I'm fascinated by other people's tattooed skin. So, I mean, we will always be fascinated by things we don't necessarily want to choose for ourselves, but it doesn't mean we condemn them or anything. It just means that, we realize that that's for other people and not for us. And this house would definitely fall in that category. That would be for other people and not me. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will wish you a good day and see you next time.